Anyway, hello, beautiful Casual Nausea people. Hello. Nice to see you guys. And it's lush that you guys are back at MPF and on the Union stage. We were saying before that last time it was Gorilla. So how are you guys feeling about being on the big boy?
Well, we thought Gorilla was big enough as it was. So ideally we wanted like a downgrade, I think, like to something a bit smaller, but... You know,
a stage made of pallets. Yeah. That's like our level. Do you know what I mean? But yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Like, we'll try this time to do the Wall of Death again, but we'll try for the whole of the Union, see if it works.
Which won't be hard if there's only 5 people there. Do you know what I mean?
But even if the amount of people that came to your show at Gorilla came to the Union, that'd still be a well good number, and it's gonna pack out, mate.
Like, we joke, and like I would rather have 20 people just fucking having it than 500 nonchalantly looking at their watches going, when's lunch? Do you know what I mean? Like, so I mean, we're happy to be here anyway, you know, regardless of kind of what happens, I suppose, but it's still terrifying.
She says in a really husky voice.
A sexy phlegm on today.
Yeah. And to end, Zoe phlegms all over the front row. Sick.
Always finishing style.
Yeah, in it. But it does feel a bit weird though, like interviewing you guys instead of being like at the front, which I will be, but you know, like it's quite funny just being like so professional. Let's talk about it. But so your last show at MPF was 2019. Obviously you've done some gigs, you know, since then, and you know, lovely stuff. But how have you guys found gig life post lockdown and COVID and everything?
It was slow, I guess, like getting back into it, because I think a lot of the trouble is like we all had our routines set out, but COVID kind of broke that down, and like now we're struggling a little bit to get back into it, but we're getting there now, aren't we?
I think it's like, especially after COVID, it's making sure that people felt comfortable. Like putting on gigs was a really interesting one, because obviously we put on gigs in Ipswich as well, and it was like knowing when was the right time to do that, and like, you know, I say like making sure that people feel comfortable, and there's still people that don't feel comfortable coming to gigs, and I think that's absolutely fine. I think people, I don't think COVID did amazing things for like collective mental health, both in the band and just nationally anyway, you know, so I think it's been a slow kind of upward trajectory. I think like now, like MPF, like, you know, I think it's basically sold out, you know, so you've got like a lot of people who are now like starting to come back out and kind of getting into it, but I like that everyone's kind of taking it at their own speed, and people's allowed to take it at their own, if that makes sense. You know, it's like no one expects anything.
I definitely think we've like got past the stage of when things kind of reopened, because it was pretty much overnight. Like these things, you can do these things now. And I remember feeling definitely at gigs when people, you know, the people that were going to gigs, it was like, oh my God, I have to see every band, I have to do everything because it might get taken away again. And I feel like now that it's kind of come more back to a point where people that weren't comfortable coming to gigs are now starting to come, and people that were like hammering it are like, this isn't going to go again. I can actually just chill
into it a bit. You know, I think as well, like it was fucking overwhelming. You know, like, no, what was it, like 2 years, you know, don't leave the house, don't do things, don't do anything unless it's necessary, whilst going to work and all that fucking bollocks that goes with it. But I think like coming back into gigs, like I remember like working, like just the Steamboat in Ipswich, like the first gig that we had on, I was like, this is the most people I've seen in 2 years, and it's just like, I quit smoking as well, so I was like, I could even go out into the garden and have like a cheeky cigarette, just go, you know, just calm down into it, you know. But again, I think as long as everyone's comfortable and people give like other people the space to kind of do what they need to do in terms of gigs and playing and stuff, I think that's awesome. So
I think also with punk rock, it's like it's full of kind of like people with, you know, social kind of, they struggle with society a bit, so finding that group of people again, you know, and like getting used to talking to each other again, and like it's a process. It takes a while, but I think we're pretty much there again. It seems like everyone's back into it. Like I've noticed the last couple of days here, like everyone like being really happy and talking to each other again. It's really nice to see it all again, isn't it? You know,
It's been a proper friend fest,
Yeah,
like just
exactly.
wholesome loveliness.
We see so many people from Europe as well, because obviously we didn't see anyone for like, you know, travel was off the cards. So like, you know, we've got some like German friends here, and obviously you've got like Jodie Fast and it's Stoy Snack. Like, it's so lovely to see bands. I think like for a little while we weren't sure if we were going to see them for a long time, you know. So that's really cool.
It's been a very wholesome weekend so far.
It's a
Yeah.
really happy atmosphere this year. I mean, it always is, but yeah, it's a lovely thing.
Yeah, no, it's 2 more days, guys. Though still loads left. It's gonna be good. Yeah. Yeah, never. You just peak every day and then you'll be fine. But also your album Demons touches on a lot of amazing topics. Also, just fucking great album. And there's a lot of good themes that you talk about throughout a lot of your songs, and you know, it explores a lot of different styles as well. But one of the songs that I think a lot of people can connect with is Predator. And just was wondering just what kind of made you write that song. What is the thing behind that?
Simon's lyrics.
It's actually about like sort of about this guy, and I wrote it in a way that everyone could relate to it. But it's just this guy that like kind of picks on like he goes around like Ipswich, and he sees punks, and he like kind of tries to like, you know, touch them and stuff, and it's like
It's not okay at all.
and it's kind of based on that, but it's also expanding more to include everyone, so it's like about general gig etiquette and stuff. That's essentially what it is. But I started writing out of that, and then I thought, like, you know what, everyone should relate to this, because I think everyone can, you know.
I think there are certain groups of people within like wider society and gigs as well that do have like a certain vulnerability, you know. And I think that unfortunately as a woman, and you know, I think we've all probably had moments where you've kind of felt very vulnerable and very like, fuck, like I wish someone was here, you know. And I think like it's amazing as a band to be able to kind of use a bit of a platform. Sounds a bit weird, but you know, I think it's nice to be able to kind of go, no, this is not okay, and like this should never ever be endorsed, you know, regardless of whatever like music scene you coexist in, or you know. But I think fighting against that kind of like sense of vulnerability, like Manchester Punks Festival, and like the gigs that we put on, or you know, it should be a very safe space for everyone to kind of, you know, coexist in, you know. And I think if you see any kind of, you know, predatory behaviour, be that, you know, not giving someone personal space, or you know, like for like even going, oh, do you want a drink? You go, no, do you want a drink? No. Respect boundaries, you know. And it's just about that kind of mutual respect, really. Does that make sense?
No, it is like it's a shame, but it does have to be preached all the time, you know. It's important that we keep doing it, you know, keep saying it, because otherwise we get, you know, it gets carried away, and it happened again, you know.
It will never ever not be relevant.
Yeah.
Like, not that just that song, but I think like that kind of sense of, I don't know, like just not wanting anyone to feel unsafe in their own skin, whatever form that takes. You know, like it's never not going to be a relevant thing to kind of bring up or talk about, or you know, I think it's very, very important.
Yeah, and it's actually been it's been lovely, the amount of bands that I've seen that have been bringing it up. Like Bruise Control, first band on the Union stage was like, you know, if anyone touches you without your consent, come to us, come to the bouncers, do this, like, you know. And just saying that, it makes such a difference.
It brings accountability into it as well, do you know what I mean? Like, everyone is suddenly accountable for their own behaviour. You know, no one's going to be backed into a corner and be allowed to get away with it. You know, we're all being encouraged to kind of speak out. Like, if you see something, fucking say it. You know, because it's bringing it into the forefront and kind of, you know, allowing it not to be allowed. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's just community, isn't it? You know, we all look after each other, and that's what it is, you know, like, yeah, just be nice to each other, look after each other, simple as that, you know. It's not that hard to grasp, but
mutual respect. That's literally it. It's not fucking hard.
Literally, like just then, the lyrics that are coming to me that you guys know, it's like, why can't we all just get along? And then also, why don't you just fucking go away? And I'm like, yeah, I can connect with all of those things that you guys sing about. Like, simple, it's good, that's what we need, yeah.
We're not Oh, I can't remember the word. I'm hanging today. Like.
Yeah. No, that's completely fine.
Being the most poetic band in the world.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's very accessible though. Everyone knows what we mean. That's so sick though. It's true though. It's like these shouty lyrics like just go away, and it's like no, just fuck off. Yeah.
Like, we've all got to that point of rage, right? Just going, just fuck off. And you think of like the really clever, eloquent thing to say like an hour later, and you're like, fuck, why did I say that? That's every song.
I think there's almost even more poetic beauty in simplicity, and you can put that on a t-shirt if you want. Like, yeah.
That's a review on the next album. Molly said.
Molly said we're simple but really good. Absolutely fine. Yeah, no, sick. And you guys have also done some like really good gigs recently, in like York with Aaron BGB, and then you did some in Hastings. Like beautiful scenes there, like lovely people. How did you find those gigs? And have you got any more coming up soon? Or
This is the thing. So whenever someone goes, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I don't know. I should
talk about the ones that you've already done. Go on. How were they?
like BGB in York is always fucking fun. Like again, like the beauty of I think UK DIY scene and European as well, but we haven't been out to Europe for a few years. But I think the beauty of the UK scene at the moment is that it is just pockets of people doing it for fun. So everyone's kind of in it for the right reasons. There's no promoters going, I'm the promoter, I'm going to take this money and blah blah blah. It's a very lovely thing. So you know that you're going to go to a gig. 9 times out of 10 you're going to get fed. You'll have your petrol covered. Like they'll find your place to stay. And it's the same up and down the country. It's the same in York. It's the same in Hastings. It's the same, literally all over the place.
It's like when we play like the towns like York and like up north, it's like it's always fun going up. It makes the drive worthwhile because so many nice people you haven't met for like I don't know 6 months, and then you go to see them again, and it's like you never spend a day apart. It's like it's fucking it,
Very family vibes in it. It's lovely.
I think one of the nicest ways of getting to know someone is kind of like you play a gig and like you've never met them before, and you go back to the house and like, oh, do you want like tea or anything? You end up like watching YouTube and talking shit, and it's just by the time you next see them, it is like a friend, and you're like, oh, hey man, like how's it going? Like, oh, like that is it's lovely, and the more you do that, the more the community is built, and the more bands kind of like share stuff. In terms of like be it a gig swap or like we've had it in Ipswich where like we haven't put a gig on but a band's in the place to stay, so it's like come crash because we met you in blah 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 4 years ago.
And such a vouchers for you, so it sounds
it's lovely. It's a brilliant way of building community.
Last night I had a house full and we all ate like lentil soup and a whole packet of hash browns. It was so nice.
That's so lovely.
It was great. It was really funny. It was I was chatting with someone about Manchester Punk Festival that weren't in the punk scene, and they were like, yeah, punk used to be kind of like just a load of like angry people doing shit, and like now you're all vegan and help the homeless. And I'm like, basically.
It's like that is like one thing, like back home you kind of like people go, oh, what do you do at the weekend? You're like, oh, well, I'm actually going to Manchester, we're doing this like really cool thing, and you are right, you say punk to people, and I think a lot of people still think it's like
It's that kind of, we're still angry, but we're angrily nice about it. You know what I mean? Like it's like we're still like, but like do the right thing.
Like it's manifesting itself in a different way, isn't it? It's like the only way. Like none of us have any control over the wider world at all. So I think a lot of it is kind of like you can only control your world. So if you're fucking brilliant to each other, and you're brilliant like within your home communities, if you get involved with I don't know like food banks or fucking homeless charities or this that you can only change what is within our reach, but if there's enough people around the UK doing that, in many ways things might get better. I don't know if that's like hopelessly
no like mate, if we don't hope, what the fuck have we got? Like, do you know what I mean? Like I definitely think like empathy is one of the most accessible and brilliant forms of activism, because you're not going to get anyone on side by just pure aggression. That should be the last resort, because sometimes it is really necessary, but like it does alienate people. You're not, and that person isn't going to be like, oh, I totally see your point of view now.
Conversation and debate I think is very, very healthy. Like there are some people like you can have that conversation over and over again, they will not listen. Do you know what I mean? Like some people are so kind of set in their ways, and at that point you kind of go, right, but I'm a firm believer in like not cutting anyone off until you absolutely have to. And I think that's the only way, like I say, education and kind of like discussion can really lift, I don't know, a community.
I think. Sorry.
No. You know, when you lose faith in something. I know what I'm trying to say. I'm just not very good.
No, you nailed it, mate. You nailed it.
But no, I was going to say something.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. That's all right. Yeah, innit, mate. It's only day 2. Sorry, so you got to play in an hour. Fucking hell.
Yeah, I need like Jaeger bombs would be good.
Yeah. Is that like you just advertising that to the world?
Oh my God, Snatch game last night. Just drinking Jägermeister out the bottle during the DJ set. I was just like, yep, that's a vibe. So good. With like proper done up glittery dress. Like, I was like,
For this, it was the Cher song. I was just like, yes. And I was like, oh no, now I can't talk.
So good, so good. Anyway, just the last thing is obviously Demons came out a few years ago. Beautiful album, amazing music. Do you have any new music in the pipeline, or?
I mean, we sort of do, don't we? It's been a long while now.
We keep calling them new songs, but we've been writing them for like 4 years. It's new, but, you know.
That's fine.
I mean, what's basically happened is we've had a few practices, and then we got quite tight with them, and we're like, yeah, it's good. And then we don't have practice for like, I don't know, a couple of months, and then we get back there, it's back to square one, and we're like.
I have always said about our band, and I mean this with absolute joy and love, you know, you get those bands that are really good and they never practice. Yeah. That's not us. That is not us by any means. We have to practice quite hard to stay vaguely mediocre. Do you know what I mean? So like trying to learn new stuff, and like literally that, like you'll go, oh, this is coming together really well, and you'll meet up in 3 months, go, how'd it go? Shit. It's a fucking nightmare.
Oh man! Yeah. But so, have you got some new to us songs that you think you're gonna be playing or coming out? Or
I think we'll possibly be playing some in a bit, hopefully.
I hope so. It's a really difficult one because, like I say, we're all quite nervous people.
Yeah.
So when 3 songs in, we'll all know if the set's going to go really well or if it's going to go fucking diabolically. Yeah. If it goes diabolically, we'll probably stick to the things we've been playing for 10 years because we know those ones, and it should go fine. If we feel like it's going pretty positive, we might chuck a couple. It'd be nice to. I think the plan is to do some new ones, but if it goes absolutely tits up, we might not.
Nice to know in general though that there's stuff in the pipipeline. That's always exciting.
There are plans. It just might take us a little while to get there.
That is fine. That is fine. Yeah. That is everything, my lovely people. Like, thank you for coming and having a chat. And I'm absolutely buzzing about the set. I'm going to be right at the front because this is too professional for me with you guys. I need to just go and have a dance and it'll be good.
Lovely experience. So thank you very, very much for having us.
Very much. And,
sorry if I talk.
Yeah, we're highly unprofessional people, but we try.
But your heart's in the right place. No, it's beautiful, and I will see you lovely people around the festival. And sweet, nice one. Cool.
I think you'll find the problem that we're facing is that Jodie Foster are very, very good, and we are no good.